Could be for the series to go to 5, based on what we've seen so far. So a real surprise would be that Top Esports wins this in like clean fashion. And then since I said it would be a surprise, it wouldn't be a surprise anymore.
Well, make sure you're locked in. Everybody at home, get your coffee, your tea, because you're gonna be up for maybe 2 more games here and an entire series after this with ALWE.
I see a York ban. Are we gonna see some Sion maybe in this game?
Oh, you know how I get about Sion. I hope that gets locked in.
What do we ban York for?
369. You know what's good for you. Okay, they're gonna lock in a jungle Jace most likely.
It could be top Jace. Jason York's a counter to Jace. But yeah, probably NaiYou's Jace in the jungle here. Curious what we get in the top lane. I think the temptation, if you pick Sion now, is that you get Jace top into Trundle. That's the thought. But will be Jarvan left up and given over, which is a pretty big priority pick in the jungle.
Yeah, and JunJia 3-0 on it this season. J4 certainly a high-value pickup for any team, but specifically here for JD Gaming. They have a lot of success on this pick. Lucian going to signify another aggressive bottom lane for Gala and Vampires. Really worked in their favor so far.
You could deny Nami with Ezreal. You kind of build a poke comp formation with Jace already. I think it's an option. Or you just sign up for the Ezreal Karma. And what we expect to be a Nami locked in here. Unless things really get weird.
This?
Yeah.
2021 again?
Unless things get really weird. I mean, Nami, I know, Grapes, you've been busy doing some very cool stuff on your end. You covered the Olympics for the last 2 weeks with NBC. Yeah. Badass that we, have you doing double duty with this and dipping into a joy. Also having your expertise behind the scenes. But Nami has been very popular in the last couple weeks. It's really risen in presence with Corki as a pairing too, which we saw earlier being denied. So, yeah, what is it? The year 2021? Fearless just brought back all the glories of old school League. Why not plug and play old lanes? We used to have to play at the highest level.
It's like, oh shoot, like all the cool new stuff has been picked away. Let's just go back to the old school here.
I think I've told this on air 1 or 2 times. One of the coolest parts. So 2021 going into 2022, I was one of Team Liquid's coaches behind the scenes for a tryout they did. Their academy team. So when they got APA in, and part of the tryout, they had Core JJ. He was one of the 4 coaches in there. They had the final bot lane run Lucian Nami versus Aphelios Lulu like 5 different times. Like, I'm talking, they rebooted the game 2 or 3 times because that lane didn't meet right before the minions spawn. And like that's the level of depth that Core JJ is talking about this matchup in. But then also like the level of depth that they wanted to see if the guys could just learn it as part of like the trial process too, which I thought was very cool. Like hearing Core JJ talk about how to play Lucian Nami versus Aphelios or Zeri Lulu, I think it was on both sides was these guys are really smart, really talented at what they do. Not just executing it on the keyboard, which I can't even do in the first place, but even conceptualizing it, which is my job, and they're also better at that than me. That's okay. That's why we're up here, Grapes.
The micromanaging in terms of how each little interaction can go in a Lucian Nami
blinding
lane.
Zoe?
Really exciting to see. Go through the second phase of picks and bans. We got 2 mid lane bans here against
We're
Creme.
blinding Zoe.
And we're going to get a blind Zoe here for HongQ.
Whoa.
Not what we were expecting.
No. Wow. Creme, what do you got against this? I think it really speaks to the priority that JDG and HongQ puts on mid priority and the ability to function as a team. This is a champ Zoe where if you are playing ahead of the map, it's a lot easier because you get access to the walls. If you're playing from behind, it's a lot harder to fire those bubbles in. This is one of the better matchups in the Zoe. I think it's going to be Yasuo. Nope. Okay. Would have been Yasuo and AP jungler. Victor, also a good matchup. I like this pick a lot, actually, for Top Esports because it kind of already feeds into the poke scenario they have going with the Ezreal Karma and the Jace. Also a good matchup into the Zoe. That said, you need to find a jungler that I think can kind of patch the map together.
Or top laner.
I actually think you put the Jace top. I think you put the Jace top and you pick a jungler that trying to fit the map together. Because Ezreal, Karma, Victor, this is a very slippery team, and Lee Sin kind of fits as that slippery frontliner to match in with the poke comp.
Nice job by TS to ban away the Sion, a pick that's often played into the Jace for your ability to survive some of that early poke. NaiYou loves this Lee Sin throughout the entirety of his career. Been somebody to always frequent that champion. So getting more towards comfort here in that position specifically. Xiaoxu locking it to K'Sante to wrap.
I think at the end of the road, the top esports draft is a fun experiment. I don't like it. I think when you're playing a game of League of Legends with no hard CC, which it's what we have Lee Sin kick here and Jace E as guaranteed hard CC. Like that's not even lockdown. Like Karma W and Victor W is conditional. I don't like that. And that like it sets up, you have a lot of range, you have the ability to poke, like you can get advantages like that, but if JDG gets ahead at all, their ability to force and pull the trigger in this game is going to be so much greater than what top esports can do. So I think it's really hard as top to execute this draft, like actually make plays. And so I'm going to favor JDG for this, but we've seen
done a
top
lot of favoring
esports
JDG here today.
Yeah, we have seen top esports get away with crimes so far
Yeah.
tonight. We'll see if that can continue in this game.
Well, as the coaches head back to their studios, back to their desks, we just the 10 players on the Rift, fighting it out here for the 4th time today. JD Gaming trying to even up our series, take us to that game number 5. Whereas top esports looking to pull off a surprising result. Could this happen? Could this be the case? I'm not sure just yet. And the draft maybe doesn't entirely speak towards it. But as the fans in Suzhou get on their feet, get ready for this game 4, you got to do so at home as well. Let's get excited.
Would you like my excitement there, Graves?
Yeah, you're getting into it.
Cross-pollinating IPs. I gotta take advantage of the unofficial broadcast, you know?
You might get in trouble for that. They're pretty good at finding...
We can cross-pollinate IPs on here as much as we want. Mario or Wario... No, I'm kidding. All right. So we dive into this one. Again, I think top's comp, like, pieces split up, good ideas, could be good. I think together, a lot of hard CC is lacking, and that is a problem. As, wow, heal and barrier committed to juke the mantra Q. Big commit.
See, that's my thing about these matchups. Like, I feel like level 1, you constantly see these summoner spells being traded back and forth for like the smallest margin of value. Like, surely that heal would have been useful a little bit later on in the lane. Yeah,
but if you use it then you get it up faster to have it to be used a little bit later on, Graves.
That's my philosophy while playing Earth. Or playing ARM with the snowball, but maybe on, an LPL playoff. They're the pros now.
Yeah, I think that was a lot committed early for Lucian Nami for sure. They're gonna need some doubles to get into this matchup early on. Ezreal Karma is gonna be better before the first base, unless your Karma throws out too many Qs like that one. But I think Fengyue is gonna sort out the next one, as I'm expecting that lane to go better. For top esports. Frankly, I'm expecting most of these lanes to be better for top esports if left in isolation. Jace should be up in K'Sante. That could be hard to execute later on, but early on, your Jace as okay. 369 missed out on the small window. That's good. He did go for the Conquer, and also might be eating an early gate from JunJia, who, of course, with Jarvan, you clear very fast. 369 going to dip down and drop that ward.
Lands here on the Gala as well. The range advantage for JiaQi and Fengyue really coming into fruition here. Mystic Shot not connecting on the Vampire. That could have been enough to be fatal, but instead it'll just be Gala and Vampire headed back under their tower. Maybe a reset coming through for the Lucian.
The Crabs traded, but as you highlighted, nice early lead for JiaQi and Fengyue, who I really haven't won a lane phase yet in this series. I think that we went into the last game talking a lot about how well Gala and Vampire were playing in this best of. Definitely still feel that way at the moment, that Gala and Vampire have gotten the best of their opponents.
Oh, there's that gank we were talking about, just coming a little bit later in 369. Think he knows he is toast. Gonna wait for that Q3 to come through. Instead, the flag and drag going to be baited. 369 is buying some time, but will eat the Intofo strike for first blood. JDG get on the board first.
Yeah, he gave the kill over to Xiaoxu too, which we'll see if K'Sante goes for the tech. There is some tech in this matchup where you can stack up chain vests. So you can go for 2. One builds into your Iceborne, the other one builds into your Xiaoxu later on. And yeah, you can already see that looks like Xiaoxu's going to be doing that. It's good tech in this matchup where, of course, against Jace, you're facing a lot of AD damage early and no Black Cleaver. HongQ solo.
Trouble bubble, yes, that's enough. Oh, the sleep damage provides a rude awakening for Creme, and it's 2-0 JDG.
Wasn't flash, not the E. Can be tough to react to. Creme goes down. Even got the Q shield off. Don't know if it mattered. As well played by HongQ, blinding the Zoe. Creme takes the counter and Mage. I think Creme plays decently well. But solo kill goes over to the Zoe early on.
Man, that is a really big opening here for JDG. Getting the mid and jungle on board. What they can do to open up the map. I mean, we were talking about how many possible combinations there were here for JunJia and HongQ. They somehow have found another one that's worked out so far.
I mean, this is just it has to be a game 5, Graves. We're looking at the scoreline like, okay, it's 2-1 top in a series that could have been 3-0 JDG. And naturally, this has to be a JDG win to get us to 5. And then game 5 it's like the last 5 minutes of an NBA game, you know? Like, that's when we really figure out what happens. Yeah.
Now a bot lane dive is coming through. Nice bubble actually landing from Vampire. They're taking a lot of damage under the tower. JiaQi's going to flash away. He will go down. And Gala ends up getting 2. Fengyue should be able to finish this one off with that final inner flame and will get out with his life. But overall, you're going to be happy about this if you're JDG with HongQ finishing off a 3rd kill.
3 flashes to celebrate too, but a beautiful double bubble found by Vampire in the bot lane is what turns that play around. And frankly, gonna need a replay to sort out all the tower aggro. Who took it, who kept it, and well, what that scenario was. As we do see Xiaoxu takes a chunk play on a 369 who is flashless now. He's getting dope.
The ulti can come out for Xiaoxu here. Not gonna need it. There's the flag and drag. Knockup secured. And Xiaoxu is now 2-0.
That was very well played. Ulted to get the chunk to set up for that dive. Even took the aggro to make sure that Jarvan gets out. Okay, we're going to go way back in time. How did we get the solo bolo? HongQ, Rocket Belt, cancels. That wasn't flash. Yeah, and then the shield goes away. I think I saw the shield go away before the Q hit. That's the difference. Okay, NaiYou's going to wait to take aggro, but double bubble gets hit. It is Karma with the aggro. Fengyue then flashes away at the right time. Then JiaQi takes it next. The right call there from top, and this is hard to make in the moment. But it's to let the tower aggro reset and redive. And that's hard to make in the moment because HongQ's back on the way. Didn't make that, though. This time, Creme does flash the bubble where he gets out of the mid play, but does lose his flash this time. But as we look at the consequences of what's happened on the Rift here, Graves, it is a lead for JDG pretty much across the board.
Don't get your hopes up though. We've seen these situations.
It's a
maybe
bad
not
sign.
work out yet. More work to be done. Job not finished, as Cubby would say. As in goes the Cataclysm from JunJia. They're gonna find another knockup. Barrier used from JiaQi to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but just delaying the eventual kill. Gala gets number 2.
Yeah, I thought he could find the trade kill in the Gala. Honestly, if the WQ gets off, it's a maybe, but did not have enough time to get the Q off there. And it is a well-executed gank by JunJia, who... You know, I will say for JunJia, it hasn't been JunJia's best series, but if I see JunJia on Jarvan, I'm a pretty happy camper, Graves. I think that historically has been a very good setup for him. And so far, this Jarvan off to a hot start in this game.
I mean, you think about what JunJia has been able to do throughout his career, not just on JDG or just on CFO, even, you know, back in the earlier days of the PCS when he was with you know, PSG. Things like this Jarvan, early game aggression, being able to make plays across the map, always been his MO. And we're seeing why he's been undefeated on this champion this season, looking like he's about to push it to 4-0 if things continue to go the right way for him.
Looks like he's going to look to head to the Grubs, first off, to make that the right way. We're going to have a swap. It's going to be the Ezreal Karma lane. You know, it was kills, was a couple good plays that went over to Gala and Vampire, but that lane in isolation is still very Ezreal Karma favored. It's a nice interaction there by Xiaoxu. The knockup will be the first dragon given, and likely here, the Grub's taken in a sec by JDG.
HongQ going for Rome as well. They've really made 369 a target early on in this game, making sure no snowball can happen. Sleep Trouble going
Wow.
to connect, and it's going to time up beautifully with the rest of the damage. 369 with one more auto will drop once more. Xiaoxu up to 3-0. He's on a killing spree.
And this is why we haven't seen as much Jace top, guys, because if you get behind it all, you get hunted, you're a squishy champion, and the way that HongQ now has gotten in on the party, it was Xiaoxu and JunJia who first created it. HongQ the one that gets to enjoy it a bit. As 369 is sadly rolling threes in the spot of the scoreline. You would not like to roll 3 in this early.
Absolutely. And we're going to get another play here from JunJia on to Creme. Not having a flash is a death sentence against a Jarvan. And HongQ has gone up to 3-0. This game's gotten out of hand way too quick.
Yeah, so this is part of why I wasn't really a fan of the Lee Sin, Victor, Ezreal, Karma duo, because again, they're what hard CC do you bring in this draft to make plays with? Like, what kind of plays are you making? And it also, that means that when JDG gets ahead, like, your ability to even force a play on a side and answer isn't there. All we've seen so far is, yes, NaiYou has gotten the first 2 neutral objectives, but it's been cleanups after the opposing jungler left a disaster in the wake of the lane.
Really good situation here for JD Gaming. Up 2,500 gold at the 10-minute mark. I mean, this is one of the more one-sided games we've seen all season, I feel like, here in the LPL. I mean, the early game has all gone JDG's way. That's exactly what they wanted, and that's exactly what they're getting.
Yeah, and again, like, I'll be seeing top kind of benefit off JDG. I guess, I think they had a really nice team fight set up by Creme in the last game, you know. I just, like, who can make the plays to... Oh, yep, that's Zoe things. Who's going to be able to, like, find plays, make plays on the team of top to, like, even turn this around? It does not exist.
Well, we see a Chaos Storm being thrown out here by Creme. It's going to force HongQ and JunJia back. No Dragon or any neutral objectives to take with those ultimates being burned. And at this point, JDG are happy that they're just out with their lives at this point. The culling issued here onto the bot lane. JiaQi, oh, you're in a lot of trouble, my friend, as Gala's going to at least get this one plate, maybe some more. Here comes JunJia into the mid lane. Flash flag and drag into the Cataclysm. Onto NaiYou will take him down. And it's all JDG here in this game 4. They want this game 5, and they want it now.
I mean, we saw top try to make a play in the last couple of minutes to pretty much take HP away from HongQ mid, and then they still get dunked.
Oh!
And HongQ still dunks Creme. All 3 of the carry lanes for top esports are sitting 0-3 right now, Grapes. Thoughts?
Yeah. That is, you know, not what you want for a team with no hard crowd control and no reliable way to set up a team fight.
It is a nice way to honor the legacy of their captain 369, but I also agree that in Game 4 of a playoff game, this is not quite ideal.
No. You know what? They want the drama. They want to just be able to lose. They want to win the series despite losing all 5 early games. That's exactly. They want to set a record. They want to make
See, this is like, these are the drafts that people look at, and then they go, Tabe's the GOAT, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, NaiYou. Okay, I was wondering why we saw a flash R onto a Lee Sin. It was because NaiYou went for the minion into the Sonic Wave onto HongQ. And that missed, and sadly, the mid-jungle duo for top esports end up looking quite silly against the duo brought from the PCS. Yeah, that's a nice one from HongQ. He's got to do his best B2D impression, you know?
We've seen actually a fair amount of Zoe, I feel like, here in the LPL. I mean, Angel whipped it out a little bit earlier this season. Icing up a little bit more priority. Being able to provide a lot of dueling power. Speaking of dueling, they're going to try to do some dueling onto Gala. Barrier not enough. And a big shutdown picked up here for JiaQi. Desperately needed here for TES, and they've already utilized a lot of resources. And in comes HongQ and the rest of JDG. Throws out the Paddle Star. They decide that shall be all.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a JunJia's blue buff. That was a lot committed. It was a good play. We'll give that one to top esports. Creme got 3 plays from that. That's actually pretty significant, as don't think JDG's answer there quite got them enough, and we've spent a lot of time talking about JDG tonight, Grapes, because from our perspective up here, it feels like this should be, even if you don't agree with a 3-0 for JDG, we can all agree it should be a 2-1 for JDG, right? I should have won that. I should have won that game. Yeah. That's anyone that thinks they should have lost that game. That's tinfoil hat category. You know, we can talk about game 1, game 3. I gotta give him the right of that one. But JDG, you know, we haven't really had time to talk about the mistakes they're making, which have been overcommits. That last bot skirmish, we might actually talk about as a mistake. If they skirmished for too long, NaiYou turned it. Oh.
Straight line, right for the Sonic Wave. NaiYou waiting for that Intoko strike, but not going to have enough damage to take this Visante down. So Xiaoxu able to stay alive and should be very happy to just clear out the rest of this wave under his tower. Lead at 4,000. We got the Herald in 15 seconds, and that seems to be what top esports have focused on, at least making sure that JDG don't take it easy.
Oh, they did take Creme's flash, lower third there. So Creme is flashless. That is significant on the Victor. That said, HongQ is going to be lifeless.
In a 1v3, he's going to be dead. Taken down. 369 should get the kill. At 840 gold, step 1 in what could be a big comeback once again. That is a big kill.
That is a big kill, a big shutdown. Well played by top to get that one. That's a roughie from HongQ, because your jungler is on the bot side of the map. You don't see anyone else. Like, there was a play attempted mid. Creme flashed it. That's a wave that you probably don't have to play as Zoe. And so, even being ahead, I think just given your jungler being bot, given no one else was showing from top esports, probably one you shouldn't be past the halfway mark on quite yet as the wave meets. You can wait for more info there as a player. Good punish by top. Oopsie, though, from JDG. And again, JDG, I got to talk what have the mistakes from them been so far tonight, as they are down 2-1 in the series. They've made a couple plays too fast, and those decisions have been very punishing by top esports. So, I'm going to slow things down.
Okay, Xiaoxu's able to get away. I was wondering if maybe he overstayed his welcome in there. You see Gala and Vampire do their best here in the mid lane. However, Shot Glass comes through from 369 to change the equation a little bit. Culling comes out alongside the tidal wave, beautifully fine in terms of those ultis from both Gala and Vampire. It's not enough to take anybody down, with JDG opting instead to take the Rift Herald up on the top side of the map.
Visante soaked the gank in the bot lane. I still think the top are trying to play off-tempo / play around some of the timers here against JDG because they were behind.
NaiYou's hunting. Hoping that Gala steps a little too far forward. Looks like instead they're going to take the reset. Wisely so. Make sure that they maintain the lead that they already have at about 3.5k.
6ix9ine doing a good job there, respecting the bonus play that could have see. He was waiting for NaiYou to get up there. That's what we were talking about the last time at HongQ. Top. HongQ was able to clean up the turret, so a lot picked up there by JDG getting the turret and the Herald, Grapes. And you gotta believe with HongQ sitting here, this Herald's gonna be drop mid. Yep, and yep. And it's gonna be a tough scenario for top.
How bad do they want to defend this? You can see that Lucian Nami damage just being so devastating for JiaQi. Takes one auto and nearly 30% of his health is gone. That will be the mid lane tier 1 going down, as JDG have now cleared out the outer ring of structures on top esports' side.
Playing ahead with Zoe. I think that Jace is still going to have a big target on his head, just being Jace in his side lane. Right now, Creme is still flashless. So if you're JDG, it's probably where you're looking. You're probably looking to put Creme in the safer spot, which JDG has him in now. Given he is down that summoner spell, or top has him in now. Yeah, so Creme is going to pick these waves up safely and kind of chilling right now, Grapes. It's a quiet game. And I am not exactly sure where top esports can find their way into this one without JDG making mistakes, because again, the best trigger pull they have is a Lee Sin, kick flash, and getting really fancy. They have no hard lockdown to set that up. It's got to be a lot of poking, a lot of prodding, and hopefully JDG making a lot of mistakes.
You got to get lucky, hoping that somebody from JDG overextends. Otherwise, not too easy to fully set up and engage, get a sleepy trouble bubble, not connecting onto a champion, as it will be the blue buff stolen away, I believe.
Yeah, stolen.
JunJia's going to control that one. We got the dragon up in 20 seconds. Top laners trading on their side of the map. And not much you can do if you're top at this point. It's going to be NaiYou actually heading up top lane to try to get a trade kill on to Xiaoxu if he overextended.
Gonna be dragon picked up. Mountain Soul spawning. Good pickups for whatever team picks up Mountain Dragon. JunJia gonna guarantee that one for his own team in JDG. As it looks like observing's a little bit funky right now. We've got the main overlay up with the backup overlay, and the camera didn't spot the Drake going on until this one. Might be putting out some fires in their side. Fortunately, we've got trusty dusty producer Caddy behind us all day today to help us out. On our side,
this is for all of you who are mad about the client. They're just like they're giving you the old-fashioned little taste of what things used to look like. But I've actually gotten used to the champions on the bottom of the screen. I feel like it took a while. My one gripe has always been consistency. We want it to look the same for the internationals as the domestic leagues.
You know, that's a reasonable gripe. I made some threads about UI and transparency, given that was actually some of my full-time work before my startup job. Because I have opinions on that. Because I also stare at this game a lot. And this system is worse. But that's okay. I've been learning to get used to it. Yeah. And I didn't comment the last time I looked at 369 CS number and went like, that looks high for this point of the game. And, you know, didn't realize it was his IGN and thought it was the CS number, but it wasn't. Then I figured it out. That did happen the last
369 CS?
Yeah, I looked at the CS. I was like, he's that much in 25 minutes? I definitely thought that in the last game. It's fine. We're learning. We're learning.
Yeah, I mean, that's a struggle that wow. I mean, Creme has Creme CS? I've never thought of that. Okay.
What do 210 creams mean?
Got a root here into the True Shot Barrage as JDG's bot lane might have gone a little too far forward. In goes HongQ though to make sure that it will not be any of his friends going down. Maybe just him though as JiaQi flashes forward and makes it a 1-for-1. In goes 369. They go underneath the tier 1 turret. They'll be able to take it down as well as a double kill's already been picked up from NaiYou, who was just wreaking havoc in the mid lane. It's a double kill for the Lee Sin and 4 members of JDG just dropped.
Yeah, big feature of that fight off-screen. Creme was able to cancel Xiaoxu's TP with his own ult. And I think that was a big difference in this one as Gala, I mean, we dashed straight past the wave into a Mystic Shot. HongQ isn't here yet. JunJia's not here yet. Takes a lot of chip damage early on. And that's kind of why we talked about top getting lucky to find these engages. You see that TP coming in. That Xiaoxu's in the top right of your screen. That was canceled by Creme's ultimate or W off screen. That's really significant. Part of what allows 369 to play as far forward as he did, who had a really big fight and a big entrance into the fight. So the top laner that was able to make his way to this fight, able to have a big impact, 369 did just that.
Yeah, I mean, you could be 0-3, but if you're there and the other top laner is not, you are more useful. And that is exactly what happened there for 369 and top, who... Uh-oh, Cubby. Look up. We thought maybe this was a wipe. Maybe we're going to Game 5. Not so certain yet. As we have seen top esports once again come all the way back to an even game state. It's all too familiar at this point. Maybe this is just their identity. Maybe they're just the late game team fighting team.
I mean, that's kind of funny because that was kind of Gala's identity with IG, you know?
I know,
and
yeah.
a big part of Gala's game from last year with that IG squad. But that was a big win for top esports. Again, I think JDG, like the setup with Zoe getting pushed and rotating down was good. With that and JunJia, you do have Xiaoxu's TP available. You want to push the tempo of this game, I think. You're the one that has, you're able to make plays, but Gala being in front of a wave before those members are there is not a great start to it. And I think that's kind of been the story of the night, Grapes, is that you know, we're setting up. We like JDG's setup. We like their drafts. We like their play. And then they make one or two decisions that are so catastrophically bad, the game is now in the hands of Top Esports, right? That kind of is what happened in games 1 and 3. And now it feels like it's kind of what's happening in game 4, as their decisions as a team aren't clean enough to punish this very slippery poke comp that Top Esports has. And my criticism of it lacking hard CC isn't exactly landing when the hard CC engages from JDG do not land themselves and are not clean.
And then we're just all even at that point. With the Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, we'll see how much this poke composition can do in terms of setup for these neutral objectives as we get further into game number 4. JDG trying to control this mid lane for now. They clear things out, but HongQ has suddenly been caught out by Creme. He's going to be forced to portal jump away. Trouble Bubble not going to connect. Now the poke wars can begin from JD Gaming as well. Top Esports have themselves the death rush here with JiaQi and Fengyue throwing out mystic shots, waiting for this dragon to spawn. HongQ throwing out another bubble. It will connect onto the Lee Sin. NaiYou going to be able to survive it though, as here comes that tidal wave. Not going to find a single target. These two teams dancing mercilessly, waiting for the other team to make an error. It'll be JDG starting up this dragon right now. HongQ chunking JiaQi down very low. The empowered shield will keep JiaQi alive and allow for JD Gaming to take their third dragon of the game.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like poking, there's not a lot that Top Esports can do to start a fight. You definitely don't want to start a fight when HongQ wins the poke war on his own as Zoe, which won't be the case for the rest of the game, but is the case now. We'll say a positive that I see from Top at the moment is that Creme, yes, he's 0-3-0, but this guy has picked up a lot of side lane farm. And when he was Flashless Victor, they put him in the safe side lane, you know, the one that's kind of getting pushed in by JDG and crashed for free. Creme has gone uninterrupted with trying to acquire a lot of resources, and part of why you're picking Victor into Zoe is that later on in the game, Zoe can't move you, and Victor scales very well. So Creme doing just that as he continues to operate the side lane.
Picking up farm where he's unable to find kills. That's what Creme's strategy has been so far. Has the fully stacked up Rod of Ages, working for what could be a death cap, what could be something like a Shadow Flame instead. Still a lot of options left here for the TES mid laner, who again, finding opportunities, finding angles to stay in this game. NaiYou getting slept, but not actually taken down. And you can see it in the XP as well, Cubby. HongQ is 2 levels down to Creme because of all that farm that's been done.
Yeah. That's has been really nice for Top, actually. The fact they've been able to tunnel like that definitely says that JDG is pushing in all 3 waves and not necessarily thinking about how to use all 3 waves sometimes. Serpent's Fang built like Gala. That is a big delay to his spikes, but speaks to the shielding in the game between the Victor, the Lee Sin, the Karma. The Gala feels like this is the best decision for him. To A, be the one that goes Serpent's Fang on the team, because it's something that Jarvan can buy. And C, I mean, or B, I should say, he's delaying his IE for it. I think it just really speaks to the power of the shielding in this game for Top Esports, and that's a pretty nice utility buff for Gala. I mean, that's gonna definitely depress a lot of the value of Karma Lee Sin.
I mean, especially when those mantra shields are being used to basically off of cooldown for Fengyue when you get to this point in the game. Combine that with some of the other shielding, the barrier available for JiaQi as well. It's going to be a very useful item for Gala, especially if he can get onto a priority target. We see JunJia caught out here by NaiYou, but very confidently standing next to the wall. But HongQ is not so lucky. He's taken down by JiaQi, as it will be NaiYou who has found his moment. He'll be taken down, but JunJia will fall as well. It's both junglers and HongQ dead, as it's a 2-for-1 for TES.
That portal, once you take it, you are stagnated. NaiYou takes full advantage out of that with both junglers down. It's going to be Top starting up the Baron. They're up a man overall. They might just be doing this to pull the Cassante TP, which gets pulled immediately. Creme's going to take a lot, though.
Yeah, culling is huge, and Xiaoxu provides a massive frontline. Creme taking a ton of damage from just the Baron alone, and that is all that JDG needed to do to prevent from that objective from being finished.
I actually really like that play from Top. It might look a little goofy, but the fact that they just got Cassante TP out for free, really going to help them setting up this next dragon, which they need. Again, JDG, this is their soul on the table in 90 seconds. Top Esports, we talked about their struggles in terms of starting fights or finding engages. Well, they can poke. And taking away a top lane TP, I mean, that's one condition that you could use or need to be enough. As, yeah, that R being used. Zoe shows up in the face. Nice snap reaction from NaiYou. It's the Sonic Wave. Coach loving it, too. Let's go. He's hyped up trying to beat Tabe. He's like, I couldn't do this last year.
I don't think many people could.
Only in Split 1 they were able to do it last year.
Yeah. So, overall, a lot on the line here for Top Esports. Again, they are a developmental team. They got these players like NaiYou, like Fengyue from their academy system. Even JiaQi coming over from some of these lower tier teams. Actually, him and Xiaoxu, former teammates over on RNG, a team that's no longer in the LPL.
Yeah.
Fun crossover there. Getting an opportunity to try to carry the flame of JiaQi Love. Here comes that CP Couple Bubble. It lands here on the 2 Fengyue. He forces a flash away. 3-man Cataclysm forces a ton of summoner spells, but no deaths. That is a big cooldown from JunJia as the Dragon is about to spawn.
HongQ can get some of those summoner spells. That is quite nice. Yeah.
Flash. Bubble not going to connect, and now the Arcane Storm going to rain it down. True Shot Barrage doing a lot of poke damage as well, and Gala is already out of the fight. NaiYou dashing forward with that Resonating Strike as the Sleeping Couple Bubble lands here on to JiaQi, and he slept up like he's Snow White and taken down. JunJia on the backside of things will be traded, but looking at health bars.
What?
They are so low on both sides. HongQ dashes forward against Fengyue, but now with that 1 HP, he goes for another at the slimmest of margins. HongQ and JDG come up clutch. It's Creme in a 1v4. The health bar still very, very low on JD Gaming's side, but not on Gala. One more double shot should do it as Creme is running for the hills, and he won't be running for much longer. It's an ace picked up for JDG.
I think they've got to take the Dragon. They've got the time to do so. That is soul for them. Frankly, I mean, I didn't think JDG played this fight super well outside the opening. I think that they... Like, for me, this comp fighting in mid is weird. I think that this enables Top's comp to be really mobile, which they excel in. And then these lockdown tools really aren't that great from JDG. It just ends up not mattering in the end because HongQ has a big enough fight from front, like start to finish on the Zoe. And the fact they found JiaQi like this is kind of the big difference maker. Creme's got bad conditions, but I mean, JunJia overcommits. Vampire overcommits. I think Flash Bubble is just completely, like... It's not really necessary there. Like, I don't think they're really setting this up in great spots for them, but it was HongQ who was the start of the fight.
Yeah.
As his ability to bounce back and forth on the Zoe to snag these summoner spells being used and put down this damage. It's a flashy champion, and HongQ's making sure that he's shining.
I mean, HongQ made his fair share of mistakes in this game. Getting caught out allowed for that teleport to be burned by Xiaoxu, namely, and falling behind in CS, falling behind in experience, but has come up clutch in these moments, doing exactly what you need to do on a Zoe. Locked it in, blind, had confidence in the pick, and it's paying off so far. 3,000 gold still ahead of Creme. And the rest of JDG now back in an advantageous position. They're fighting around the mid lane right now, waiting for an engage, and there they go. It is JunJia with a Cataclysm, locking up the backline. Creme forcing to use the Allograph, but Fengyue is already dead. Xiaoxu all out, on to the mid laner up top, and he has gone down. But on the backside, it is going to be 369, still taking a lot of damage. That bubble just hurts too damn much. It's another kill going over to HongQ as he goes to 8-3, and it'll be only NaiYou and JiaQi up to try to save their mid lane inhibitor.
I think that's going to be it. I mean, again, Top Esports didn't exactly draft ways to initiate plays on their own. They kind of have to accept whatever happens this game against JDG, and JDG played well enough where they can finish this game from start to finish. So, JDG, we move on to the 3.5 to 0.5 territory. If they can find this win.
Wave is getting chunked out here. True Shot Barrage actually going to finish off the last of these minions. So the wave finally coming through. Fengyue has arrived. NaiYou taken dangerously low. JiaQi doing his best to try to save this game, but it will not happen. The Nexus is exposed, and our first series of the LPL playoffs is going the distance.
Welcome to the LPL, man. We shrug and end up in Game 5. And now we're in the last 5 minutes of the NBA game, You get to see who the real winner is. But this has been a wild series back and forth. I think that, for the most part, JDG, they should feel like they have won this series already. And going into Game 5, I mean, this is going to feel really bad for them if they are not able to topple Top Esports. This is now one game for your last life, or one of the 2 lives, I should say, that you have in this playoff bracket. And it feels like JDG have found ways to lose games they've lost, and then the games they've won, for me, have been very convincing in their favor. And I wish I had more positives for Top Esports about this, but it feels like Top have somewhat, outside of NaiYou, who I think has done a lot of good things actually in this series, Top for me feels like a team that has been existing in this series until JDG makes mistakes. When JDG makes mistakes, Top there to punish, it looks great, right? But we haven't seen Top really take control of a game from start to finish outside of kind of game one.
No, that's a great point. I mean, just seeing the lack of... I mean, the closest we got was in this game, right? Where Top Esports had maybe a slight lead, continuously attacking the bottom side of the map. They got some advantageous positions, but even then, JDG were able to punish 369 up in the top lane. Xiaoxu basically unkillable the entire game, and HongQ also able to get a big advantage that he absolutely was able to capitalize on, popping off here in this one, as just like the bubbles that were landing on basically everyone on TES.
I mean, that game. The fact that that game was as close as it was, because we looked at what it was. 0-3 top, 0-3 mid, 0-3 2 AD, 2 dragons in. So, kind of surprised that this game ended up being, in a way, as close as it was, given that we didn't love Top's draft, and they were able to find something out of it. I think NaiYou, again, had a good game, like, doing what he can. I think NaiYou's outperformed his peer and in this series, and in a series that we're saying that feels like JDG has found ways to lose a couple of the games in here.
Take a look at another just beautiful LPL gold graph. As for a second we thought maybe Top Esports gonna come back. They had that very successful fight around the mid lane tower, but again, it continuously feels like the damage that JDG is giving to themselves largely self-inflicted. A lot of mistakes, being caught out early, being caught out in sides. And that is the situation that Top Esports are able to punish, but without any go button of their own in this composition, unable to make any plays happen on their own.
that graph really felt like the blue trending up is draft diff, the dip was player diff. We kind of got back to where I thought the draft should be. I mean, again, like, I really hate this draft from Top. Like, where's the hard CC? Like, these are the games where having stuff like a Galio mid or Sejuani jungle kind of makes it all work, like the glue champs that put it all together. It really felt like Top Esports were lacking that. And again, in isolation, like, I like Ezreal Karma into Lucian Nami. I like Victor into Zoe. I think Lee Sin is really good in comps where you already want to be mobile, or your front line has to be kind of mobile, because you can go back and forth and play with your back line and play in the front line. There are a lot of things in isolation I think are good ideas from Top Esports. It's not the same draft together, because I don't know what you can do outside. Like, in this game, the only highlights we're seeing at Top Esports are the ones where it feels like NaiYou was just absolutely heroic, right? So I think it made the rest of the game pretty hard to play.
NaiYou pretty heroic in this game. I mean, the reasons that the gold graph curved down, a lot of it because of him.
Yeah,
he's the ace of this game, but HongQ, the way he was able to play some of these team fights out, specifically, I believe it was this one around the mid lane, the reason that JDG were able to get back into it.
Yeah, this was a crazy Zoe fight. And again, summoner spells grabbing them throughout the fight. You look at how the fight plays for Top Esports. They have to kite back. It allows Zoe to keep on walking forward, grabbing summoner spells. Having the barrier here definitely helped enable HongQ go in. And it actually is what enabled HongQ to live. The fact that barrier ate some of the damage being brought back by NaiYou. So, yeah.
Strain. Once this happens, I mean, again, you think about the previous fight that just happened with JunJia using his Cataclysm and forcing 2 flashes, then he goes right back onto those targets. They don't have flash. And again, just the story of what happens when you're up against a team that doesn't have a lot of engage themselves. You can press the go button essentially whenever you want without any fear of retaliation. That's exactly what JDG were able to do at the back end of that fourth game. They pick up their second win, and just one more for the decider to see who exactly will be facing off against the winner of AL and WE later tonight.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I think that the top side of the bracket I think a lot of fans look at it and say that it's a lot harder than the bot side of the bracket from what we have in the upper bracket, given that I think a lot of fans at home think that JD Gaming and AL and probably BOG are 3 of the teams that can win this. I don't think Weibo has proved enough to me yet in that case, but 2 out of 3 teams on the top side of the bracket. If we kind of zoom out and prepare for the match that we have after this one, as everyone else gets welcome to the LPL schedule. That said, Grapes, we have a Game 5 to prepare for as we try and wrap up this one.
Yep, congratulations to HongQ, winning player of the game for his Zoe performance. A masterclass in that mid lane team fight sends JD Gaming to an even score at 2-2 against TES. These longtime rivals in the LPL, the teams that have defined this decade of the 2020s, facing off in one of what have been many matchups in these past few years. The first maybe of a couple that could happen throughout 2026. Who will win and move on to the upper bracket semifinals in game number 5? We'll find out right after Silver.